There we go. You're listening to Hold On, Kate Ceberano's new song, and we've got Kate joining us this afternoon. Welcome.
G'day, how are you? G'day.
Welcome to the show. Thank you for joining.
I'm sitting here in a car with my family, and we're just all together finally after so many months apart. And listening to that song is just bringing back so many memories of what that was just like in Victoria. My gosh.
Absolutely, yeah. So you did write this song during the lockdown. So tell us about the song. It's absolutely gorgeous. I've played it twice today. I don't know if I was allowed to do that, but I've done it.
Yeah. Well, basically, as I don't think Adelaide's quite had the same restrictions, but Victoria had certainly such a series of different lockdowns, and all of which had different circumstances that prevailed. Like in the first one, we were able to broadcast from home, we were able to make music, and we're still probably able to get sort of virtual concerts going. But by the second one, all of the work has been sort of cancelled pretty much up until the middle of next year. And then and all the restrictions in the studios for recording, all possible opportunities have sort of stopped. Yeah. So Sony threw me a lifeline and said, look, we really want you to make a record, and we want you to make it while we're in lockdown together. And we want you to write a song that you feel would be appropriate to the times and what you're experiencing, and that's what that song's all about, really.
Well, that's good to hear that, behind the scenes we're all sort of still working on projects and letting these moments inspire us, hopefully, which is fantastic that Sony contacted you and had that in mind.
Yeah, I know. It was the boss, actually, and he had he'd offered me this album before lockdown, and it was a bucket list for him of beautiful songs written by Leonard Cohen and, many different writers. The Beatles, who else was there? I've just actually done one of our first series of concerts here in the last 2 nights, and my RAM is completely exhausted after 6 or 8 months of no music.
That's
to suddenly smash out 3 gigs in just 2 days. I actually can barely speak. But
I was going to say, how are you feeling?
Yeah, no, it was amazing though. The euphoria. I may be really tired, but the thing that was broken was fixed in these gigs, and certainly has been one of the silver linings for COVID, is that music has never felt so important or sounded so good to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, we did see more music online during that time worldwide.
Yeah, I mean, I think Australian music in particular, now that the borders are closed to international artists, and can't see it changing too much in terms of just how they're going to be able to get here. I think Australian music will never be more important than it is today. And the local kind of context, I think it's going to come back to being very Australian-centric. Peter Allen actually was one of the authors of a song that I recorded to the record as well. And I was just recalling a time when I met him, sitting here in an opening of an event, and this is just where live music in Australia, there's just nothing that can beat it. And I was opening up for him and Whitney Houston and Frank Sinatra.
Oh.
And I know, I was sitting there with him and the 2 Aussies just sitting there going, oh my God, look at what we've got. Look at what we can do. And he was so generous.
Fantastic.
And so wonderful.
What year was that?
Oh, I was about 17. So that was about 1858.
So you've been doing this, you've been in the industry for, what was it, 35 years I saw?
I think 40 now.
40 now? Wow, wait.
40 years. Because I started singing really young, and I was in my first band at 17. We had about 5 top 10 hits at the time.
That's right.
With I'm Talking, and and even that wasn't even my first band. There were other bands before that, so I was a really early starter.
Is music in your family?
Well, yes and no. My dad was a bugler in the drum and bugle corps, but I can't say that I'd made any early promises to myself about being a musician. It was a real accident, an honest-to-God accident, and sort of saved me, to be honest,
really?
Because I didn't think I was very good at anything else. And then when it sort of landed in my lap that here's something I could actually do, and I actually would love to do it, and now I find myself having made a complete profession out of it. I feel very, very, very lucky.
And there's something in that, like you say, it was by accident, but it's sort of more authentic that way. You know, you see a lot of, you know, new up-and-coming artists, and they sort of so fantastic at what they do, but they're trying so hard, almost too hard, but you can't push life and what's sort of meant to be. You've just got to trust it, do the hard work and go for it.
Yeah. Well, I'm a firm believer, you know, when I've done mentoring with young artists or I've talked to somebody about what they want to do in life, you know, they often have already shown themselves what they're able to do, but quite often they sort of don't rate it. The things that come simplest sometimes to some people, they sort of go, oh, but that's not what I want to do. I want to do that, what they're doing over there. But if you trust the fact that each of us have in life, or each of us have a purpose, and maybe we don't often know how to name the purpose, but you can always see it in how you demonstrate your way in life. And I reckon you can see that really early in people. And though I wasn't necessarily pitched for music, I was definitely pitched for performing, because I was like, you know, I was a family entertainer.
Yeah.
You know, just every opportunity there was Kate Ceberano showing up in some way or another and entertaining the crowd. So, I don't know, it could have been acting, it could have been singing, it could have been being a speaker, but whichever which way it became, I was pleased for it, you know. And I'm still today, every day, I consider a blessing, and I'm always surprised and always in wonder at what I get to do.
That's awesome that you've got that gratitude always. Never letting go of that. That's important.
Never. Every day is grand.
Absolutely.
And made more so. I made a fool of myself yesterday. I felt like Sally Fields. I was standing on stage and I started bawling because I'd just come out of quarantine, you know, and I've been in there on my own. And I just am such a social beast.
Of course.
And, you know, if you really wanted to do anyone harm and on any level, is just neglect them. Just leave them alone,
That's
you know.
right.
Don't check in with people and just sort of like, and this is what I think, I mean, I don't mean to digress, but the aged community in this time, I think we all really, really need to take stock and look after these people who've, you know, they're isolated for health reasons, but they're isolated with family, they're isolated from each other. I just can't wait to promote the arts in a way that we get to actually reach people where we can't, you know, necessarily get them in the live venues anymore.
Yeah, exactly. And, you know, it has sort of shone a light differently on us this year in the lockdowns and in different ways. I know Melbourne, it was, you know, a lot sort of harsher lockdowns, but, you know, we all did experience it in different ways. And even I picked up on myself months ago noticing, gosh, you know, certain family members that live on their own that, you know, it just hit home for me more. I thought, gosh, you know, I'm home, but this person's home all the time. You know, and it sort of makes you reach out to family members differently. You just think differently.
I actually think that we're going to become a lot nicer and more considerate generally, which leads me to asking everybody. Now, this is a real plug that you wouldn't hear Kate Ceberano ever do before COVID. Like, this is a COVID-created self-aggrandizement, okay? Advertisement.
Go for it.
Kate Ceberano. Now, there's going to be a whole slew of releases through Christmas, and on behalf of all Australian artists, I would like to just invite people to pre-order their albums now.
Yes.
They won't get released till the 1st of next year because nobody had released or no one was able to physically get in any space to actually release their material. So the backlog is out of control. But you can all pre-order and there'll be incentives, there'll be gifts. I've got beautiful signed posters made by David Bromley, which he did the artwork. And
Beautiful.
Also virtual concerts to give away. And I know I'm not the only Australian act that's going to be doing this. So on behalf of your country and your countrymen,
beautiful.
Get out there.
Exactly. Absolutely get out there. So your brand new album, Sweet Inspiration, set for release February 5th next year, 2021?
Yep. It's out there in January, but it said you can get it at JB Hi-Fi and you can get it at Sanity today.
Oh, today it started.
Well, it's online, actually. You can pre-order online. I mean, everything today is virtual, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's today is like a new normal. It's like, what is that? I
Exactly.
feel like we're living Groundhog Day.
Tell me about it. That's it. Now, the album's title track, Sweet Inspiration, written in collaboration with Rick Price.
Yeah, he and I actually were meant to do the album in Nashville. And in fact, when I say it's a co-write, in fact, it didn't end up being a co-write, but he did send me in the right direction. He gave me I'd gone to church, you know. It was just like something like from an old Aretha Franklin record. And then after COVID hit, I said, you know what, I'm just going to write this. I'm just going to stay here and write about what's happening and finish the song myself. But I do have him to thank for the inspiration.
Very good. Awesome. So anything else you want to share before we say goodbye? Any last words to our listener?
I'm so sorry to say that one last time. It was actually very nice. A person just stopped by the car to say good day to the family.
Oh,
so cute.
Nice.
What was that question?
Anything else you'd like to share with the listener before we say goodbye?
I do want to say that I miss dearly, because you're in Adelaide, and that is the spirit home of my family. And actually my daughter, at the age of, I think she must have been about 10 or 11, she said, Mum, I want to live here. This is my spiritual home.
Really?
Which I thought was a very deep thought
Gee.
for someone so young. But she and I had spent, when Dad was working over Christmas, we'd spend our holidays down in a caravan park in Normanville with another family friend of ours, Dave Gleeson and his family. So I'd just like to say to all of Adelaide and to all of my peeps and my cultural universe down there, I miss you madly, and I can't wait to get back.
Oh, we can't wait to have you back.
Thank you, darling.
Kate Ceberano, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. Have a wonderful day.
You too. All the best.
Bye.
Bye-bye.